Build your business, deliver your brand, pursue your happiness. This is not just any episode, it is the first episode, your aha moment. This episode is based on an article written by Wanda Thibodeau in Inc. magazine, reflecting on words from Richelieu Denis, CEO of Sundial Brands. The 5 signs you need to pursue your aha moment. Please join us as the conversation is already in session. And thank you. It's a 2 and a 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Michael Drayton, and I am hosting a program called 21K Pursue Your Happiness. And this is the first edition, the inaugural edition. I have my friends here, Melissa Drake and Maggie Stoit-Benson. And I'm so happy that you guys can join me today. Thank you very much for joining me. And I'm going to just let the world find out about you from you. So, Melissa, how about you start? Tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I own a company called Brilliant Transformations, and I spent 25 years in the insurance industry and was blessed to have a job elimination after 10 years with my current employer. I was working directly for the CEO, and they were doing some changes when a new CEO came in, and I got a blessing that wasn't even in disguise. So after that happened, I was actually dealing with a couple of chronic illnesses at the same time, decided to take some time off and figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I took some coaching training to become a catalyst through the Shift organization and the Angry Therapist. And the whole time I did the training, it really was about content for me. It wasn't really about coaching. And so once I did the training, I kept my focus on content, and I published 42 articles. And then they came and asked me if I would be their blog manager and editor. So I manage their blog and I edit for them. I also edit for the Good Men Project, and I write content for small businesses on the side. I also love to make memes, and I did have one recently that was on the Ellen DeGeneres page, so I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm really happy about that.
That is fantastic. And so let me ask you, when you had that blessing after 25 years in your insurance company, was it a blessing that you knew was coming, or were you completely blindsided?
I knew that I was going to leave, but I was waiting for some things to happen first.
Yes.
Like I was having surgery, so I was going to wait till after that. And so I had no idea they were going to let me go, but I knew that I was going to leave at some point. So the fact that they let me go was actually better than I could have expected. So it was a blessing, and I really had no regrets whatsoever.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think we should have an entire episode just talking about that moment when you are left with nothing else but yourself, and then I think that's an episode. Hey, I think that's episode 2. But before we get to episode 2, let's go over to my good friend Maggie Benson, all the way from Vancouver, Canada. Hey.
Well, for me, one of the things that I like to do is help people tell their stories. So I have a writing group, and the people that write for me are very passionate about sharing their stories. And so I like to be able to help them get the word out. I like to help them get published. So knowing they're passionate helps me be passionate about what I do as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how does the passion come out? How do you recognize that passion?
Well, one of the things I like to say in particular with writing is when it flows, it shows. So when a lot of people try to write for a specific niche or to fulfill a prompt, but I tell people to write about what moves them or what they're feeling. Almost like something you would write in a journal sometimes, or what's coming up for you. Because when you write, it helps you kind of process your emotions and give you perspective. But then also when you publish your stuff, it helps the person on the other end, just like you did with this article. It helps you feel supported. So it helps you gain perspective, and then it helps you feel supported as a business owner. So that's what writing does for me. And so helping other people do that, not only for themselves, but the people on the other end when they read the writing, it's a great circle all the way around. So I love that circle of passion that happens when people write something well.
Fantastic. We lost Maggie there for a second, but she's come back. Maggie?
I'm back.
All right. So no, absolutely no problem. So your target audience are passionate about your product. How do you see that happening in your business? How do you see when the customers are really getting revved up and excited about the work that you're doing?
I get love letters. Quite literally. I know when my customers in my niche are excited about me because they're contacting me all the time. They're going out and beyond the normal business conversation and quite literally saying, I love you, you're awesome. And I kid you not, I've heard both of those today. That's when you know you have found your sweet spot. It's taken me a long time. Melissa's nodding her head. It's taken me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
I will not lie about that. It has been an uphill struggle. I have most definitely gone way off on the side and gone on long tangents, but I do feel that part of knowing when you hit your sweet spot is the fact that you do get your passionate customers who are totally in love with you. They're not wanting to like move in with you, but they love what you do and they're grateful for it.
And what are some of the things that you think that you do that brings that sweet spot to fruition? That, what are the things that you're doing that they fall in love with you? Are there any like tangible things that you actually do to go out of your way to provide extra service for your customers?
Oh, hell yeah. I started out at one point, I'm not even going to do the timeline, but I had a concession trailer. I had essentially a brick and mortar store where you're actually dealing with the customer and the client face to face. When it comes to online businesses, sometimes we lose the face to face because we're dealing with our computer and we're not actually remembering that there is a human being on the other side. I was a human being on the other side. So I treat it like it would be a face-to-face relationship, even though 90% of my clients I have never met in person. So, I get to know them. I get to know about their families. I get, not without being violating privacy, but I get to know them and build relationships with them. I understand what their underlying problems is from a business perspective and provide them with a holistic answers and approach. So I go above and beyond. If my client has this, but I know they need this, whatever this is over here, I will provide that for them, usually for free. It's part of the package, simply because I know they need that. Like, it's all about providing the customer service, which you can remember when you work in the coffee shop, but you can forget when you suddenly get online.
Right. Absolutely. And Melissa, back to you. What extra effort do you put in that helps bring your customers to a level of passion, for a lack of a better word?
I think to tie into what Maggie was saying, it's going above and beyond and essentially anticipating their needs before they know what they need. So sending the extra report about video and how important video is, or if I see something that will connect one client to another client. For example, I saw last night someone was looking for a law of attraction specialist, and one of my clients is a law of attraction specialist, so I connected the two of them. I don't have to do that, but in doing that, I made both of those clients very happy. And it didn't take much of any extra effort on my part, but it was very helpful to both of them. And it's just something that I do. It doesn't take much effort at all, and it doesn't cost me anything, but it gains a lot of respect. And as Maggie said, I have many of my clients literally use the L word, I love you. And it sounds weird to be in a business environment to use those words, but in the work that I do, it's not weird at all.
Yeah.
Not so much retailers. In my role at the Goodman Project, I do sell sponsored posts for them, and so they absolutely believe in that. But that's kind of separate. That's not my own business. And in my role with Shift, I have developed for them a writing program that they will be selling on their platform. So they believe in my work enough that they've allowed me to develop a program that they'll be selling under their moniker. So
that's fantastic. Maggie, how about you?
Tribal Marketer, which is what my business is called, is kind of fresh in the sense that it's only 6 months old. So I haven't gotten to the point that I've had, definitely not retailers, but partners and so-called co-entrepreneurs getting out and promoting me. I have no doubt that it will happen because I've had it happen in other businesses that I've had. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when I had the concession trailer, it happened all the time where I did a lot of farmers markets, and all the other vendors around me who were essentially my co-entrepreneurs always sent clients to me and I sent clients to them. So when you have a great product or a great service, it will happen naturally in many ways, just takes time, that the people around you, regardless of their role, will start to encourage you and promote you and connect the dots and send clients together and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I will actually second guess you both, because the reason why we know each other, the three of us, is because we both participate in another closed group, and we reached out and supported each other in our businesses. And Maggie, I've signed up to your program, and I've joined your own private group, and I see other people participating in that way. And for anyone who's tried to start a closed group, it is a labor of love in the beginning, because you're just literally trying to figure out one more thing to throw into the group to keep them interested and engaged. And then finally, somewhere a spark happens, and then the next thing you know, people are taking responsibility and they're asking questions and they're reaching out. And the next thing you know, it's taking on an energy and a synergy all by itself. And so essentially that's how I met you guys, is through that group. So I think that that's a great opportunity to find passionate partners who will help uplift your business. It might be small ways, it might be big ways, but I think that those are where a lot of opportunities are for finding partners who will help you grow. Yeah,
I agree, absolutely. And another thing I just thought of as you were saying that, which didn't occur to me, was I'm part of a weekly mastermind. It's not paid. We belong to an independent group. One reached out and said, do you want to be part of a mastermind? And 5 of us all came together. And we haven't gotten to the point that we're sending each other revenues, but we're still supporting each other in every step of the way. So it doesn't have to be financial, right?
Right.
There's other ways to support and to have people believe in you.
Right. Well, I think it's fair to say that, especially in the early days, having someone believe in you is actually worth more than money, because the money will come. You just need someone to tell you, yeah, you're actually going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is more than just a job, and I don't do it for the money. I could do a whole bunch of other stuff if it was for money, but I choose to do this for a couple different reasons. I mentioned at the beginning I have my bigger why, which is helping mothers build businesses without having to go into the workforce. That's my bigger why and my bigger mission. But if I didn't have the inner passion to do it, to actually motivate myself to sit at the computer every single day, it wouldn't matter what my mission is. So it even comes a farther step back is my clearer mission is there's just something that I love about what I do that gets me at the computer, that motivates me, that inspires me so that I can then help and use my special skills to help other people, right?
You have actually several businesses that you're working at the same time that fulfill different missions. But what are some of the missions and goals that you have that go over and beyond just wanting to make a little bit of money for yourself and keeping the lights on?
Well, I can tell you it is just a little bit of money. All we have to do is look at my tax returns for the last 3 years and see that when I was working corporate, I made at least 3 times as much money as I'm making now. So I really need to step up getting paid for the business that I'm doing now, because I essentially do a lot of work for free. But I don't mind it, and I work probably twice as many hours as I used to work. But it's different. I mean, when I worked corporate, I spent 20 years depressed, and I spent 7 years in bed. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I spent 7 years in bed. I literally went to work, came home, and went to bed for 7 years. So when I lost my job and I recovered from the 2 chronic illnesses that I was suffering and went off of the cocktail of psych meds I was on for 20 years, I experienced joy for the first time in a long time. And I want everyone to be able to have that kind of joy.
That's awesome.
So I don't ever want to go back to that kind of imprisonment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And broken handcuffs are still handcuffs.
Yes.
If they're gold. So that's what it means to me. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line for me. That's the mission for me, is to never have to go back to that kind of lifestyle.
That's that is, I'm right there. That's everything. It actually goes to the final point, which is nothing can extinguish the fire, and there's and everyone who I talk to who are truly involved in their business, they find that they find that they wake up every morning not looking back or second guessing their decision. They will either starve doing what they're doing, or they will be wealthy doing what they're doing, or they will be backpacking over the Himalayas doing what they're doing, but they are not going to go back to where they came from, where they were in the beginning. And I think that now talking about sweet spots, once you hit that inner fire that says that this is forever, amazing things happen. And I think you guys can agree with me. I think you guys can agree with me. I personally, 2 months ago, when I had my corporate job, before I had what Melissa, you referred to as my blessing, um, I struggled to get up every morning. Sunday nights were the absolute worst feeling. I couldn't watch television. My heart rate was up. It was Sunday night and I was worried about Monday morning. And now I'm almost 2 months into this new world of entrepreneurship, and I wake up at 4:45 every morning for before my 5 o'clock alarm rings. I have not had to turn off my alarm since I started this new world because I'm so excited to get up. I can't wait to get started. I like you, Maggie. I have a 9 to 5 that's contractual, and that's another episode about when you have your own little business, you might still need to get a full-time job to support that. That's another job. That's another video
episode.
Yeah, that's another episode. But I get up at 4:45 and before the alarm at 5 o'clock, and then I'm on the bus by 5:30, quarter to 6, not because I have to get to work early, but because I have an hour to sit on the bus and I read news articles like the article that we're talking about today. And then when I get to the office, I sit in a quiet spot, I meditate, and I do my writing, I read my emails, I respond to people. So most of the flurry that you see of emails and pictures on my business page and Facebook, most of those are happening around 7 o'clock in the morning before I have to start my day. And I couldn't be more excited. And if I could possibly wake up even earlier, I probably would. But honestly, I don't see that fire extinguishing anytime soon. And if it does, please repeat this episode back to me because I will not go back. I will never go back. And for me, this is my mission, is to help people cross that bridge. I want to help people who are sitting in their 9 to 5, who right now they are stressing out about the next morning. They know they got 100 emails, 200 emails waiting for them when they get to their job, and they know they don't want to be there. And they have ideas, they have spirit, they have gifts that they're just squandering. It could be something as being a jewelry maker. They could be a musician, or they could be doing something bigger or bolder. They might have some great scientific ideas that they want to express. And I want to help those people get out of that and then into their entrepreneurial world. And that's my passion. So
I don't mind it. And I work probably twice as many hours as I used to work. But it's different. I mean, when I worked corporate, I spent 20 years